Okay, I got interrupted by my landlord. So, outside of the US, people cook with real ingredients, real seasonings. And let me be clear about what I mean by real seasoning. There's herbs, like if you look at there's singular ingredients. Like for example, a good example of this is chili powder. If you've got chili powder in your cabinet, I invite you to take a look at the list of ingredients. I've been trying to find chili powder outside of the US for years. It has never happened, primarily because it's something that was created, manufactured in the States. It is a mixture of different seasonings. We don't really know which ones because I guess it's trademarked, but I think it also has some shit in it that we just don't know what it is. In Mexico, chili is another word for pepper. So essentially, we have this pepper powder that doesn't tell you what peppers are in it. But if you look at the ingredients, which I've looked up online, it's usually some type of chili, cumin, garlic, and some other non-caking, anti-caking element. Essentially, we don't know what the hell it is. So, just like most things in the US, when I learned how to cook, I would use Mrs. Dash, which is always some blend of seasonings. I could not figure out why all my food tasted the same. And it was because I was using the same seasonings, the same mix, the same blend of seasonings. I do that individually now, like garlic powder, onion powder, smoked paprika, maybe cumin, maybe ginger powder, right? And every dish tastes different. What magic is that? So when I say that I learned how to cook, that's really what I'm talking about. I learned how to blend different individual seasoning and create this layered flavor effect. I learned how to marinate. If you're interested in the curriculum that I taught myself, let me know. I've been actually talking to some people about sharing that. Just Instagram, send me a DM on Instagram at Coach Tish and use the word learn to cook. Okay. And I'll send it to you. But so anyway, I began to learn how to cook in a way that was delicious and nutritious if you're a brown sugar fan, but really in a way that would heal my body. And I'm so grateful because through learning how to cook in a way that would heal my body, that was also delicious, right? Because I knew if it was nasty, I'm not eating it. If it was boring, I'm not eating it. So, learning how to cook French dishes, Italian dishes, Nigerian dishes. Baby, I started making suya. I don't know if you've ever had suya, if you've ever been in Nigeria, but I started making suya from scratch, suya shrimp. I made the seasoning, blend myself. It wasn't exact, but it was good, right? I like in the process of me learning how to cook, um, in a way to heal my body, I released about 25 pounds, which has been freaking amazing. It was so enlightening to me because I wasn't killing myself in the gym. I wasn't dieting or restricting. I was simply eating in a way that I knew would heal my body. Whereas before the sciatic incident, that particular where I was couldn't move for 3 days, I would sit all day while I was working. I would lay on the bed in between clients because I was doing mental health work. I would be laying on the bed, either on my stomach between clients or after work watching TV. I would eat in the bed that I'd ordered from, eat the food that I would order from the meal delivery apps, because I had a different type of apartment set up. So I would work at the kitchen table, but my life mainly happened from my bedroom. Now I'm in this beautiful space that I have an actual living room and dining room area. So my life is completely different. In addition to me losing the weight, I have not experienced sciatic pain in well over a year. I've my mind is clearer. I think that is quite honestly the best result of all of this. Right now, as you know, in our 40s, so many women who look like me are having this experience where we're talking about having brain fog and gaining weight. Um, and having all of these challenges as we go through perimenopause. And here I am inadvertently, not on purpose. I didn't know. I kind of stumbled upon this. I'm eating food that is helping me to heal my body. It's decreasing my insulin resistance, which I said we talk about. Um, but my brain is so clear. Like tasks that I used to avoid, um, that I would try not to be doing, completing client notes, things that would take me, it just seemed like it would just take so long for me to do. Now I'm able to just knock it out. Like my brain is moving quicker and clearer. I'm sleeping better. And I cannot help but to think, first off, I'm so grateful, right? I'm so grateful for learning that I did not have to give up everything that I loved. I just had to learn how to either eat in a different order or learn how to make it differently. Like I love coconut macaroons. I don't know if you're a coconut macaroon person, but I freaking love them. And I learned how to make them. So that they, number one, I put cinnamon and ginger, a little bit of turmeric. I use coconut oil, egg whites, um, and some like a sugar substitute. But I learned how to make them in a way that they wouldn't spike my blood sugar. And ironically, when I started paying attention to my blood sugar not being spiked, the things that I would love, like I could eat like mind numbing food. Like, one of my favorite, Flaming Hots. I used to love Flaming Hots. I could eat a big ass bag of Flaming Hots and wouldn't even think twice about it. Would not be, I have Flaming Hots and something sweet, maybe some cookies or something. But since I've started adjusting how I eat, like with my blood sugar, and making sure that my blood sugar isn't spiking. And even if I eat something sweet, I make sure that it's not a sweet that will spike my blood sugar. I notice that I won't eat. I'll be satisfied. I won't eat as much. I won't have to, right? Like I can have a couple of coconut macaroons and I'd be completely fine going on about my business. Whereas if I was eating these other things that didn't have nutrients or fiber in them, I would just be eating and eating and eating. Like, yeah. So for me, healing my relationship with food meant that I wasn't eating as a way to numb. I wasn't eating as a, the even like last night I wanted a snack. I went and got some skins. I don't know if you know skins. I don't know what y'all call them, pork skins, and came home and made some guacamole. So pork skins primarily is protein. Guacamole is good fat. I was satisfied, and I'm just like, man, where would I be if I had learned how to eat like this years ago? I don't know. I'm grateful that I know it now, though. But I know in my video and if this is so interesting, if this topic is interesting to you, check out the video that I did with Danny, where we talk about the emotional side of food, right? What I'm talking about is really my relationship with food, and I feel like me adjust it was so interesting, right? Because I feel like emotions are like this thing, they're like a planet out. And then we treat emotions like they're like a planet or they're like a moon or they're somewhere all the way out here, where I feel like when I began to eat when I got committed to eating delicious food that would heal my body, it gave me space to be able to think more clearly about my emotions, right? Most of the time we don't recognize that the food that we eat and our capacity to deal with difficult emotions like grief or anger. Um, and by capacity, what I really mean is your ability to hold the emotion without reacting, knee jerk reactions, right? So being able to hold it, those two things um, are related. The foods we eat impact our ability to hold difficult emotions. And for many of us, if you're watching this, you're more than likely interested in moving abroad. And if you live in the US, a lot of the food that you that we are fed, that we're sold, um, does not heal us. This idea of being fat or overweight, I feel like has been demonized and shoved down our throats so much so that we think that it's our fault. And that would make sense if the food that we were being sold wasn't pumped full of chemicals and things that cause the body to respond in such a way that it spikes the blood sugar, um, or causes us to not even recognize how much we're eating. Like, there's so much that I can say about that. But in any event, I want to, I think the piece that I really want to zero in on is every healing journey that we're on, regardless of what you're healing, um, a lot of what we're healing from is just not knowing. All this stuff that I'm learning about blood sugar and how food contributes to my emotional bandwidth, like nobody ever told me that. So I went my entire life not knowing that my inability to make moves on my goals, or my anxiety, or how bad I felt was directly connected to the Ben and Jerry's that I ate. Pistachio and pistachio used to be my shit. But that blood sugar spike from all the sugar in there, like I didn't realize there were ways to still have the things that I enjoyed without spiking and continuing to spike my blood sugar. Now, I know that I mentioned insulin resistance, so I just want to touch on that really quickly before we go. Insulin resistance is basically where every other disease starts. Diabetes starts at insulin resistance. Dementia starts with insulin resistance. Um, but because it's at the level, insulin resistance typically does not, they haven't discovered a pill for it. So even though your body might be, your cells, let me just describe insulin resistance is basically when your cells are not taking the insulin. When our blood sugar, when we eat foods that, when our blood sugar goes up, th- essentially the cells are supposed to take in the blood sugar by the insulin. So when we eat something sweet, for example, blood sugar goes up. Your pancreas gets the notice. Oh, blood sugar is in the sugar glucose is in the blood. Let's send some insulin. What happens over time, though, of there always being these sharp spikes, is your cells start saying, "No, we don't want um, as much insulin," and so your body produces more insulin the to basically push your blood sugar down. And so we call it insulin resistance because your cells are essentially resisting the insulin. So think of like going to a club, and um, there's a bouncer at the front door, and there's a crowd outside, and we all trying to get in, and the bouncer like, hold up, right? It's already people in here, and we start bombarding the bouncer to push through. essentially to get more people in the club. Essentially, the club is the cell, the bouncer are like the insulin receptors, and the people outside the club is the insulin. So, as your body creates more insulin to push the blood sugar down. And you start getting things like skin tags. Like I've got one here that's actually going away because I'm healing my insulin resistance. Darkness on the neck, right, which also is going away. And the visceral fat, which isn't just, we have oversimplified this idea of fat so much so that I feel like so many people are triggered by the word fat. We need some fat in our bodies. But visceral fat is the fat that's around the organs. And that particular fat is not just simply healed through, it doesn't go away through simple measures. It goes away as a result of a lifestyle change. So that means over time, it begins to go away. So, and you can be skinny with visceral fat, and it's still dangerous. And so, this idea of healing insulin resistance, like I said, is not typically measured unless someone is specifically looking for it, because it is a preventative measure. If you know that you're insulin resistant and you don't address it, then more than likely you will become pre-diabetic, eventually diabetic. And they put you on medications for that, which ultimately impacts your liver and your kidneys, which of course I don't is why we have so many dialysis centers in our neighborhoods in the States, because all of these things are connected. But the Western model of medicine just keeps pumping us full of more drugs. It doesn't actually heal the thing. So when we're on these journeys, a healing journey, is so important that compassion be a part of the journey, because we are learning things that we never knew before. I'm sure I have probably blown your mind with some of the things I have said today. And I don't want and don't mean to overwhelm you. Um, and at the same time, because I recognize when you're overwhelmed, you're less likely to take any action at all. So if I were you, what I would start with is send me a DM on Instagram, get and you know what? I'll probably put a link in the bottom of this video so that you can get the curriculum. Um, So we'll do that. Um, so the things that I wanted to make sure I meant, that compassion has to be a part of your journey because it's really giving yourself grace. You're learning so many things um, after years, decades of not knowing them. And because of the systems that we're already operating within, we're already hard on ourselves as Black women. And so it's so important that we give ourselves grace on this journey. It's not going to be perfect. None of these healing journeys are a straight line. Um, and let me just be honest, I'm still on the journey. I'm still healing the insulin resistance. I'm going to see my doctor. I'm getting my updated blood work probably tomorrow. But I'm on the journey. And that's really why I started this Healing Abroad series, is because I wanted to share more about what healing actually looks like outside of these. I don't know. The conversation about healing is always esoteric, like pie in the sky things. But we can also heal from on the ground. And so this is what healing has looked like for me. Now, one thing that I do want to say, I know, I feel like most of us, if you're a Black woman over a certain age, and you worked in corporate, we are very familiar with the idea of SMART goals. Um, but SMART goals don't necessarily work with the healing journey. That T part, right? That time bound aspect, all of that looks good in theory. But when it comes to like actually practicing some of this stuff, when you are changing your lifestyle, when you're making a lifelong change, there is no T. There is no time, right? Time. restraint or constraint on it. This is not a, oh, I'm gonna get this done in 6 weeks type of situation. If you notice, that shit don't hardly ever work. And part of it is because we have taken on and been sold and coerced into doing these practices that aren't actually helpful. And we think that if it's not helpful, oh, it's me, I'm not disciplined enough. Oh, it's me, I'm not committed enough, or I'm not consistent. The truth is that shit don't work. Right? Can I be real with you as someone who's coached over 1,000 people in my corporate roles as both a health coach and a mental health coach? Someone who has been consistent and still didn't develop a health habit because that shit wasn't fun, right? Like, can I just be real with you? Most of the time, it's not that we need more discipline. It's that we have to figure out how to work with our bodies and our real lives. Um, and that's why it's important that we work with practitioners, right? Like myself, like Hoodoo Hussey, who is my original holistic nutritionist, like Danny, who's also a holistic personal trainer, people who incorporate self compassion in your journey as you meet your goal. That's how you actually reach the goal without killing yourself or punishing yourself in the process. If you've enjoyed this conversation, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with someone. This is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about on this channel. Is really, what does it look like after you have made the move, and how can you begin to prepare for making the move before you leave? As I mentioned, I'm Coach Tish. I moved to Mexico 8 years ago, in 2018, and I think I have been really shocked at the level and the layers of healing that goes into this type of journey. Um, but inadvertently, I started a lot of this journey in the States. I went to for the first time. I went to a naturopathic doctor for the first time in the States, someone who was outside of the Western model and really spoke to. Now, let me be honest, it was a little bit pricey. It was out of my budget to continue going, but at least I got, you know what I mean? I got a chance to see what that experience was like. I began to try different types of foods, try different types of ways of cooking. Um, so if you're a person who's new to this healing journey and this is something that you actually want to begin to do, what I would invite you to do is just start with one new seasoning or one new vegetable. Just begin to get your palate used to something different. I remember I made asparagus for the first time after having it at this Greek restaurant. I was just trying to remake what I had. Now, I give you, again, I ain't trying to eat Mediterranean food around the clock, but that asparagus was bomb, okay? It had of course, olive oil, almond slivers, a little lime, lemon juice. It was delicious. I can't even hold you. But I just want to invite you to just try one new thing that maybe you've never had, or try to recreate one new thing. Um, that you may have enjoyed at another restaurant. Just one. Don't start with anything, that's going to take hours and hours. But my healing journey, healing my relationship with food, has meant reliving, um, not reliving, but really reinvigorating, realigning, reawakening my belief that I can make something delicious even if I've never made it before. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope that you do something that makes you feel healthy, happy, and free. Don't forget to watch that video with me and Danny. as we talk about that. And I'll see you on next time. Have a great day.